Hi, it's Jamie from Guildbrook Farm, and this is part of our Herbal 101 series, and we're going to make some non-baking soda herbal deodorant. Some of you guys have followed along as we made some deodorant that was a really good deodorant that's made with baking soda that lasts like 12 to 24 hours, and it was really great, but some people have a sensitivity to baking soda, and so they were asking if they could eliminate the baking soda from that recipe or if there was something else that they could use instead. So I've been doing a little bit of research, and I came up with a new herbal deodorant that I have been testing out for the last week or so, and so far it works great. It doesn't work quite as good as the baking soda deodorant. The baking soda deodorant worked probably about 12 hours, and I would say this one's good for maybe about 8 hours, and I have not tested it in the summertime, but so far it's actually a pretty good deodorant. So what are we using in place of baking soda? Well, it's bentonite clay. Now, bentonite clay has properties that help it remove toxins from the body, and also it helps to balance the pH. So that's what we're going to be using instead of baking soda. And then as far as our essential oils, we are going to include sage. The reason we're including sage is because it acts as an antiperspirant. So that's going to be good in helping to control some of the sweating issues. And then as far as the other essential oils that we're using, tea tree oil, antibacterial, this is a must in putting in the deodorant. Citrus also helps with antibacterial properties. And then I include a few drops of this deodorizing blend from Plant Therapy. This is optional, but it has a lot of good things in it, such as lemon and patchouli and cypress, and again, tea tree oil and grapefruit, all kinds of things that help to control the stink. So let's get started. I'll show you guys how to make this. You are going to need a double boiler. I just have a glass bowl sitting inside of a pot with some water in it. We're going to put this on high. And then we're going to add 1 tablespoon of beeswax. And we're going to add 4 tablespoons of shea butter. Now, you can measure this out if you like. For those of you guys that like to measure things, you can stuff it in there and put it in your bowl, but I just kind of eyeball it. And then we're going to add 1 tablespoon of almond oil. If you don't have almond oil, that's okay. You can use coconut oil or you can use vitamin E, but some sort of oil you're going to want in this. You can probably even use olive oil. The only one that I've tried though is the almond. So we're going to add about 1 tablespoon of this. And we're just going to allow the oils and the wax and the butter to all melt. Once your oils are all melted, just pull them off the burner. And then we're going to add our other ingredients. You're going to add 1 tablespoon of the bentonite clay. Now, anytime you're working with bentonite clay, make sure you do not use any metal. So use plastic or wooden spoons. So we're going to add 1 tablespoon of the clay. And we're going to use a little bit less than a tablespoon of tapioca. You can also use arrowroot or cornstarch. And then we're going to add our essential oils. You're going to add about 5 drops of the tea tree oil. Ten drops of sage. We're going to use 5 drops of the citrus oil, and you can use citrus if you want, or lemon, or grapefruit, or lavender if you prefer. And then we have our deodorizing blend. We're just going to add 5 drops of this, and this is optional too. You're going for somewhere between 20 and 25 drops total of essential oils. Now, a lot of people ask me if they have to add that much oil or if they have to add oil at all, essential oil at all. I have not tried it without it, but personally I would not use it. I do think that you need to have the antibacterial and antiperspirant properties of the oils in there. And then we're just going to stir this all together, and we're going to allow it to cool. As it's cooling, we're going to stir it a couple times just to make sure that the ingredients stay well blended. And we're going to take this out of the hot water so it cools a little faster. All right, so about every 5 minutes I'll come back and I'll give it another stir. All right, so after about 10 minutes or so, it'll start to thicken up and you can see it start to stick to the spoon. That's when you're going to want to pour it into your container. Now for this particular recipe, you can pour it into a deodorant container and use it as a stick. This is just an old deodorant container that was my kids, and there's no deodorant in it. It's all empty. You can also buy empty ones. All you do is just take it and pour it in and then let it cool. Now if you have some left over, you can just pour it into a container so it doesn't go to waste. But this container, this is actually a smaller deodorant container than the one that I'm using, so if you're using a regular sized deodorant container, it'll probably fill the whole thing up. But this is what it looks like whenever it's done. So it's an actual stick, and you can roll it up, and when you go to apply it, it goes on clear, just like that, and it smells really good too. So we're just going to leave this to set up, and we're going to cap it, and that's going to be the kids deodorant, and then I have mine, and that is how you make a non-baking soda herbal deodorant. Now to answer some questions, I know some people are going to ask, I would recommend using the 20 to 25 drops, even though that's where the bulk of the expense is. When you start cutting back on those, that's where you start having quality issues where it doesn't work as well, and also it doesn't smell as good as well too. So I would recommend using those. As far as cost, I have not priced it out exactly yet. My spreadsheet's buried in a computer that's not online right now, but it is going to be up there in cost, at least especially compared to commercial deodorant. If you were to go into the dollar store, you could buy commercial deodorant this size container for $1, and this is going to cost you a whole lot more than $1, but it's a lot better for you, a lot healthier for you than using ingredients with like aluminum in it. So if you guys make your own deodorant that has no baking soda in it, and you guys want to leave any tips or tricks, leave it down below. Feel free to leave your own recipe. And if you guys have any questions yourself, leave those below. I'll try and answer them as best I can. If you guys like this herbal journey we're on and you want to continue to follow us, stay tuned. We have a lot more videos coming out, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.